Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of My First Season. My guest today worked in Club Med Sandpiper during the winter of 1989-1990 as a baby Club GO for her first season. She worked for Club Med from 1989 to 2004 in such villages as Eleuthera, Ixtapa, St. Lucia, Crested Butte, and Paradise Island. She even did 2 stints in Sandpiper and Miami Corporate from 97 to April 2000 as childcare/circus HR and childcare regional manager. Fun fact about my guest: before Club Med, she worked in a YMCA summer camp, and when she got to Club Med, she felt it was exactly the same as that YMCA job, except Club Med had a bar. And she's also the owner of ExpandingJoy.love, which is a website that sells t-shirts and hoodies and is a place where each person is encouraged to live their happiest life based on what makes them happy. And we're also going to talk about that during this interview. She is from British Columbia, Canada, so please help me give a warm welcome to Miss Jo Moore. Hey, Jo, how are you today?
I'm great, Greg. How are you?
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having a mic.
Oh, of course.
Because not everyone does, so it's really nice to hear your sound and you this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so sitting comfortably, are you ready to light this fire?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think maybe you have an idea how we do it back here. If you can take me back in time before Club Med to, I guess, what you were doing, where you were living, and how did you first find out about Club Med?
I grew up in a small town in British Columbia on the West Coast. So I grew up in a town called Seashelt. After high school, I had saved up some money and I wanted to go on a vacation. I thought, okay, independence. And I didn't have anybody to go with. So I remember going to the local travel agent and asking her, where can I go that's easy and safe, really fun. And she said, well, if you're going to go by yourself, then either a cruise ship or Club Med. And at the time, I think I was 18, 19. And I said, I think cruise ships are for old people. So whatever that other thing is, I'll do that. And I didn't really know much about Club Med. I knew it was all inclusive. She said Ixtapa was a great place to go. It was an easy plane trip from Vancouver. And so off I went. I paid my money and off I went for 2 weeks in Ixtapa. So that was my first experience of Club Med. And it was in the days before there were locks on the doors. We didn't have to wear shoes. And I thought this was the best place on earth.
Now, is it true that when you went there as a GM, I'm just trying to figure out, because I know you worked at Ixtapa later on, but is this where Kevin Batt has his first season as tennis and
Yes.
Steve Riley was picnic Joe? This is true?
This is true. Yes. The first time I went there, I didn't play tennis, but I remember Kevin Batt because he was super tall and about the same age as me. So he was young. And yes, it was his first season. And Steve Riley was doing snorkel, and he did a lot of the games around the pool and all that kind of stuff. So he was around the village a lot. And so I do remember hanging out with Steve some. But yes, it was their first season in Club Med too. And then to later on meet up with them to do many villages. And Steve and I are still friends. We've been on vacations. I know he does a lot of Club Med reunions, and we've been to Eleuthera several times at the same time.
Yeah, he has the Barefoot Travelers Club.
Yes, the Soul family. Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty cool because normally when I ask someone who went to Club Med as a GM, they don't remember any of the team. Okay, for whatever reason. So it's pretty cool that you can remember that it was Kevin Batt's and Steve Riley's first season.
Yeah. It wasn't, I didn't go to Club Med immediately after I left as a GM. I actually was working as a nanny for a few years, and then thought I kept remembering Club Med though. At the time, the chief of village had asked me if I wanted to stay and do hostess. And I thought, I'm not ready for this. I was very shy, very introverted, and very small town. And so I thought, no, I'm not ready for this, to just stay. So I went home and continued my nanny job. But it never left my mind. I just kept remembering it. So a couple years later, I did apply and start work at Club Med.
Do you recall who the chief was in Ixtapa?
No idea.
Okay, no, that's good. You remembered Kevin and Steve, so you're good. All
Yeah,
right.
I do. I remember some of the GEs, the bartenders, and the there was like the maid that cleaned my room was super nice. So I do remember, I still remember what they looked like. I don't remember everybody's name, but yeah, I still remember they made a big impression.
Okay, so that was about when you went as a GM 86 or 87. So we're in 89. So when do you or how do you get up the courage or whatever word to apply to Club Med? Was there a deciding factor? Was it winter?
Um, I was working at the time for a friend of our family's as their live-in nanny. It was kind of coming to a close. They were moving, and so I was living with them, and I thought, okay, where am I going to go next? What am I going to do? I had worked for the YMCA, as you said, but it was a seasonal job. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And the lady that I was working with, who is still a family friend, encouraged me a lot. She was like, you can do this. It's all right. Broaden your horizons. And we traveled quite a bit as a family through Canada and the US and Mexico. So I was comfortable with traveling. It was just the whole independence kind of thing that was nervous. But she encouraged me, and so I applied. And being a US citizen and who loved babies and had experience with children, I was kind of a shoe-in for Sandpiper.
Now, did you apply? Was there like a HQ in Vancouver, or did you have to apply to New York or
No, I
Miami?
applied by letter, and then it was San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco. Did you have
Yeah, I went
to?
to San Francisco for my interview.
You did. Did
I
you fly?
did.
You fly there or drive there?
I flew down. I My godmother lives in San Francisco, so it was perfect. So I flew down to San Francisco for the interview and found out like less than a week later that I was hired.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was it just like a one-on-one type of talking interview? They didn't make you do any dancing or
No,
tell
I didn't
jokes?
have to do any dancing. Thank goodness. I might have not taken it if I had to
Okay.
dance at the time. No, it was John Shelley interviewed me.
Oh, John Shelley. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed when GOs tell me they flew on their own dime for an interview because maybe I got lucky. I'm from Montreal. My interview was in
Uh,
Montreal, but there's quite a few of you that actually. So you were willing, like, because there was maybe you stood a chance of not getting the job, right? So you were fine with paying for that plane ticket, not
Yeah,
really
I guess it
knowing.
never really occurred to me not to. I thought this is like a big adventure, so this is just part of the adventure. I think it helped that I was going to go to somewhere where I had someone to stay with, like had family to stay with. But it was, yeah, it never really occurred to me not to. I thought, ooh, yay, this is kind of exciting. Like definitely out of the box.
Now, did you have dreams of the Caribbean or West Indies and you found out Sandpiper, or were you okay with wherever they sent you?
I was pretty much okay with wherever they sent me. And in the interview, they did hint several times that being a US citizen, that I would probably end up in Sandpiper because, well, they were needing people who would happily look after babies in Sandpiper. So for me, it was all about the kids. So I was happy wherever they sent me.
Did you have dual citizenship back then?
I do have dual citizenship. Yeah,
Oh, you do. Okay.
I
Okay.
do. I
I
know.
didn't know
I'm
that.
lucky.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's a no-brainer then with your work experience and dual
Yeah.
citizenship. Now, do you
Yeah.
remember
And at the time, it was the only baby club
okay. Do you remember anything about arriving that first day, your first season, Sandpiper?
in Sandpiper. I just,
Or what do you remember of that first week or 2 weeks?
oh, I had my roommate arrived at Sharon was her name, and she was from San Francisco. And so we both, I think we met on a plane. I think we like landed in Dallas or something and then took the flight from Dallas to Fort Lauderdale. And so we kind of met on the plane and ended up as roommates because we arrived at the same time and all of that. So that was perfect. And we ended up to be best friends for that season and the next.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember it was very overwhelming when I first arrived, being from a small town and being very shy.
Was Abdel Zouari the first chief that you had there?
Abdel was the chief, and Howard McCarley was doing assistant chief.
Okay. So he was doing like kind of like getting ready to be a chief of village himself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Joe, can I ask you just a quick question about Sandpiper? Was there such a thing called Sandpiper Country Club?
There was. I remember it was over by the golf course and they had a separate, it was like the annex restaurant, but used mostly for the country club.
Okay, because I was in Playa 97 and a boutique Geo had a cap that said Sandpiper Country Club, and this GM wanted this hat so badly he kept offering her an obscene amount of money, and she kept saying no. But I had no idea why this was so special to the GM. But that's the first time, and now you bring it up that I totally forget about that term. Like the country club.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about it until we just started talking about Sandpiper right now. But it was a big part of the club at the time. So I know that the chief of village had kind of two hats to wear, one for the GMs and then one for the country club. And I think that's why they had a assistant chief of village so that Howard could help out with both hats.
Okay. Now, were there any funny or interesting stories that come out of your first season? Did you make any rookie mistakes? Did you
Oh
have any
my gosh, I'm
culture
sure I
shock?
did. I the let's see, I was super shy and I wear glasses. And I remember doing the shows, and the choreographer had asked me not to wear glasses on stage because it reflected the light. So people couldn't really see my face. And I was already nervous. I'd never had to perform in front of people before or anything. And I do remember one show during rehearsal, I walked right off the end of the stage. And I wasn't hurt, but it's like a 4-foot drop off the Sandpiper stage originally. And so after that, I spent a whole lot of time helping the set designer.
Okay, wait a minute. Are you saying they put the shy girl first season into the shows right away? Could you not have avoided this?
Well,
or
I
you
didn't
got
think
cornered?
to avoid it.
Did the
I'd worked with the
choreographer
Y.
did the choreographer corner you? Or
No, I was
okay.
just explained as part of the job. So I thought, okay, I could do this, But yes, my eyesight is not very good, and it was a black stage. And so I just kind of took one too many steps off the end. And I was okay. Everybody kind of panicked, but I was fine. But after that, I thought, you know what? I think I'm better backstage. So I
Okay.
spent most of my contribution to the shows as the assistant set designer.
All right. When you fell off the stage, did you pretend that it was part of the number when you fell?
Well, it was
Did
during
you recover?
rehearsal.
Oh,
It was
rehearsal. Okay,
it was
phew. Okay.
rehearsal. Yes,
Okay.
thank goodness. No, it was during rehearsal because I don't think I could have pulled it off as part of the show.
Okay. Did an unfortunate nickname occur because of this trip?
No,
Okay, good,
actually,
good. Okay, so you
I
weren't
was
called.
lucky. Everybody was really nice to me.
Okay, so Clumsy Joe was not on your badge, right?
No, no,
Okay, good, good, good. Okay.
no. My name tag badge, because at that time we had name tags, and mine said Joe Baby. So because it was always your name and then your service,
Yep.
like John Saline or something. So mine said Joe Baby. So that kind of stuck.
Did GMs tease you about that? Because it's a kind of a cool thing to have on your badge, but I could see how it could go another way. So were you getting called Joe Baby a lot, even when
Joe
you
Baby, yeah, no,
okay.
they were really good about it. I think
No,
I
no,
looked naive enough that people weren't going to make fun of it.
and when you were eating in the main restaurant, did everyone say no one puts Joe Baby in the corner? Did anyone use that
Oh
one?
yeah, no.
Okay, okay, damn. Okay. All
I
right.
don't think I think that was before
It was well, Dirty Dancing. No, I think Dirty
yeah.
Dancing was 88 if you were there in 89
Oh yeah, no, I guess it was.
or
Would have been
simultaneously.
would have been there quite, yeah.
So from Sandpiper, you go to Punta Cana, summer of 1990, correct?
Yes.
And what did you think of that resort after
I
Sandpiper?
don't remember a lot about that village, but I
Okay.
do remember that the set designer did not arrive for some reason. And somebody who was there that had done Sandpiper with me said, "Oh, it's okay. Joanne or Joe can do it."
Oh, so Joe Baby got volunteered for the
Joe Baby got to be, yeah, Joe set.
okay.
So
Wow.
I do remember that I spent the first, I don't know, maybe month or so as the set designer, having absolutely no idea what I was doing. Because really, in Sandpiper, Rob told me what to do and I followed instructions. But I do remember kind of taking over set design for the first month or so and thinking, well, this is a character building experience.
Did you say Rob or Rod?
Rob was the set designer in Sandpiper.
Oh, okay.
He only
Now,
did, I think, 1 or 2 seasons, but
Okay. And then I see you follow that with the Luthra. And so you were with Mike Coltman and
Yeah.
Sandpiper. So now he is the chief and you are in Petit Club now?
I did Petite Club because it was before Baby Club existed in Eleuthera. So I did Petite Club and Eleuthera. And my first season, yeah, I loved it. Eleuthera is probably my all-time favorite village.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I hear it was very beautiful.
Yeah. And just the locals were really friendly. And I don't know, everything just kind of clicked that season. And we got to stay for a year, which was the first time that that happened. So it was really great.
Was there any, like, because you worked both in Baby Club and Petite Club, was there one that, and this could be because of the parents, was there one that you preferred over the other? Like, or you just, they were both the same?
No, it was always for me, under 3 is my favorite kid zone, like newborn to 3. And that continued even after Club Med, because after Club Med, when I left the club, I started a home daycare and I looked after still infant to 3.
Okay. And so you said spent 2 seasons in Eleuthera.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything interesting or memorable or
Mm,
funny?
just that the locals were super great. Oh, I do remember that was kind of the season where we discovered, like you're always just 6 people removed. And so we used to play the game at dinner with the guests, like, okay, because you could sit 2 geos at a table. So we would one of my roommate and I used to think, okay, so who are we going to find that we're 6 people removed from? Like, where is the connection at dinner going to be? And I remember sitting down one night and, the typical questions, where are you from? What do you do? Yada, yada. And somebody said that they were from South Dakota. And I was like, really? That's awesome. Because I have family who live in South Dakota. And it turns out after a couple of questions that the gentleman went to high school with my dad.
What? Are you
And
serious?
it was like, oh, you know what? The world is much smaller than we think.
I didn't think you were ever going to get this 6 degrees of separation. Are you
Oh, we
serious?
got it all the time.
Really?
We
I
did. We
never.
would, like, it was a game. Like, yes, we could find some connection somewhere. Not every dinner, of course, but more often than you would think.
It would never occur to me to try this because I think the odds would be so remote that would
Oh
happen.
my
But
gosh.
you actually found someone that went to high school with your father.
Yes, they
Wow.
played on the same basketball team. Because I said, he's like, you really, South Dakota, you have family? And I'm like, yes, they live in Bellefouche. And he's like, oh, we live in Spearfish. I'm like, oh my gosh, my dad went to high school in Spearfish. And it was, yeah. So after that, we definitely upped the ante and played that more often for sure. And I do remember sitting down for dinner one night, same kind of thing, only I was on my own. I think there was maybe another geo from another service that I wasn't familiar with so much, and same thing, I go around the table, hi, I'm Joe, who are you, what's your name, whatever. And this one gentleman kind of looked at me strange, like I should know who he was or something. And I thought, oh no, maybe he was here before and I don't recognize him, or anyways. And so he was like, anyways, it was Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, really?
And I had no idea who he was at the
You must
time.
be, yeah, the only woman on the planet that did not know who Lenny Kravitz was.
Well, I wasn't a big music fan, so no. And then
True.
I'd been away on islands living for the last 2 years. And so, yes, and I didn't know
But
who he
would it
was.
really matter if Lenny Kravitz played the guitar or not? Like, like he's got that thing. He's got that aura. No, doesn't he have a magnetism about him? I mean,
I don't know. He was just never on my radar. So
okay. Wow. Okay. Man, you're tough.
he was there with his mom having dinner. And I was like, so where are you from? And he's like, Eleuthera. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's great.
Oh,
But yeah.
he's from Eleuthera, Lenny?
Yeah, he's from Eleuthera, I
Oh,
think.
okay. I didn't know
I
that.
know that his mom was living there anyways, so he was there after that quite a few times. But yeah, he looked a little perplexed, like, and
Okay.
everybody else at the table was kind of like their jaws dropped, like, "What? You don't know who this is?" I was like,
Yikes.
"Oh man."
All right. So after Eleuthera, you go to Ixtapa, where you were first as a GM, winter 91 92 with Howard. And that was Howard McCarley now a chief of village?
Yeah, Howard's the chief of village now in Ixtapa, which was kind of cool to, have a familiar chief, and it was fun. Ixtapa was that was the first village that I did circus in. Like did the trapeze on my time off. I was petite club that season, but I am terrified of heights.
Okay. Yeah. After you fell off the stage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be, right. Okay.
Yeah, because you don't wear your glasses doing trapeze either. So, which I kind of thought was a benefit because then everything's a little blurry.
That's right. Yeah. You don't want to see the danger.
Okay. Can't see everything anyways. But yes, that was the first season. I don't remember who the chief of circus was, but they must have been encouraging because I did go and try it. And I remember going up the first time and thinking, I am never doing this again. And then I got down and sat right back in line again.
Oh, wow. You liked it immediately?
So, well, no, I didn't love it actually.
Oh, okay.
But I sat back down again. So I was like determined to get that darn knee hang down. So yeah, I did it, I think 5 or 6 times that day. And then I didn't do it again until I did Eleuthera again several years later. But okay. Yes, I did conquer my fear. I thought if I'm going to do Club Mad, I got to do this circus thing at least once.
Yeah, you got to try. Even I tried it. I didn't like hanging upside down, but yeah, I tried it.
Oh, I like hanging upside down. It was just
really?
It was climbing the ladder. That was
Oh, climbing the ladder was my favorite part.
Oh. Well, there's something for everybody then.
Yeah. Well, you go to Eleuthera, but I think you do you did a fill in, right? Or you did?
Yeah, I think they needed extra hands for a really busy summer.
Okay, must have been some kind of event going on, or
I think it was like school vacation, so
okay,
you get tons of kids.
Was there a memorable kid? Like, do you remember? Do you think back, like, I know I'll never forget this one. Do you have like faces in your memory like that? Like ones that you remember?
I do have a couple. I have one little girl. I actually have a picture of us at the end of the show together still, and her name was Megan, and she was just like one of those kids that you click with automatically. She was just the most, I don't know, like happy, loving. She was, and her parents were really nice. And I think they were from New Jersey. And I have another one who we had this boy with Down syndrome, and he was the most huggy, loving, wonderful child. And I remember that he loved the water. So we actually his parents kept him in a life jacket all the time because he would like run to the pool at every opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And just jump in because he wasn't afraid of it. So yeah, so he wore a life jacket all the time. And actually his parents had such a good time because they could leave him with the petite club because he was 3 for long enough for them to have a vacation, that they came back, I think 3 or 4 times to Eleuthera. So we saw him again and again.
Well, it's pretty cool. The thousands of kids you must have seen
Yes.
that you remember specific ones. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids. I remember a lot of diapers.
Okay, so many diapers.
So many diapers.
Okay. That should be the title of your book. Should you ever write your autobiography?
Yeah.
The Joe Moore story. So many diapers. Okay. All right. Let's skip to Eleuthera because that was 94, 95. So I started in 94, and that's probably where we kept missing each other. All right.
Yeah.
Now you say the chief village was Dirk. Was that Dirk Noira or another Dirk?
Yeah. Dirk. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where's he from? Was he Spanish or Brazilian?
No, I think he was. You know what? That is a darn good question. Italian.
Oh, Italian. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Italian. Had to think about it for a minute there because the chief of sports that season was also Italian.
Oh, okay.
I believe. And I know that Dirk had a couple of GOs that he had brought with him, kind of thing, like from the European sector. And we had one Bettina in the petite baby club as well.
That's hard to say. Bettina and the petite baby club.
Yeah, Bettina and the petite baby club.
Was it this season that you start thinking, yeah, I'd like to be like Chief Mini Club, Chief Baby Club? Did it start here, or was it before that?
You know what? It never occurred to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, it was every season. At the end of the season, Club Med, gives you this piece of paper that says, where would you, when you come to the nearing the end of season,
The
they
dream
give you a
sheet.
piece of paper that says, yes, your dream sheet. Where would you like to go? Who would you like to work with? What are your 3 top choices, kind of thing? And I would most of the time send it back saying, wherever sounds good.
Okay.
Like, I don't really like, you guys haven't messed up so far. You can send me where you want. Like, there's not a bad choice, right? Finally, one time that I can't remember what season it was, but I do remember having it handed back to me. And I said, well, what's wrong? And they said, would you not like a promotion? We think it's time. We think it's time.
Okay.
And then it was like, oh, okay. So it never really was kind of my ambition, but everything was going along swimmingly.
Okay, so I guess this was told to you in Eleuthera, because in St. Lucia I see your Chief Baby Club, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Eleuthera, it was okay. It's time.
Okay.
They're like, and I'm like, well, I haven't seen every village in the American zone yet. There were limited children's villages, so yeah, they were like, okay, we're gonna send you off, and yeah, you're gonna be cheap now.
Yeah, back then there was more singles villages, and now it's totally the opposite today, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's one singles village, and all the others have families. I see you're with Gino and Dretta in St. Lucia. Okay, how was that?
He was amazing. I loved working with him. He was just this ball of energy and positive and fun, and handled his stuff. I think he handled the geos really well. It was different because it was a far greater European team than North American. So that was kind of a bigger challenge. My French is not great. It never was, but it was a great first experience because Gino was very encouraging and always very supportive. And it was a small baby petite club. There wasn't a ton of kids like Eleuthera.
Did you like the resort itself? Like, did you get time?
Oh, I loved it. It was beautiful.
Sightsee or anything?
Oh, yes. We used to, because there you could take the bus for like super cheap. And it wasn't a bus, it was like a van that they packed as many people in as they could, the local transit, and you could go anywhere. It was fantastic. So we went all over the island, I think, and visited lots of different places and made friends with the locals. Everybody was really friendly, and it was great. St. Lucia was not the country wasn't as safe per se as Eleuthera, but when you made friends with locals, they would tell you where to go, where not to go, where to eat, where not to eat, things like that. And Gino was really good about making sure that if you left the village, like after hours or something, that we always went as a group and not like don't wander around singly or whatever. But it was such a beautiful island that, yeah.
Now, seeing as how this was your first season as chief, do you recall any challenges, or did you have such an easy season that
I remember thinking, because I did, between my first season in Sandpiper and now, I had done shows. I didn't fall off the stage anymore. And I was coming out of my shell, but I was still pretty shy and not, like I talked to parents. Parents were the easiest people for me, GMs for me to talk to. But if you weren't a parent and I didn't know you, then I was still pretty shy, around the bar and stuff. But in this season, Gino said, well, you're the only English as a first language chief of service. So you're going to do all the welcome, the
information
village
meetings?
Tour and the welcome information in English. So sometimes there would be like 500 people in the theater, and I would do the information meeting. So I had to overcome stage fright, and I got really good at the welcome speech. And I had it down to, my team used to laugh at me because they were like, yep, it takes Joe 32 minutes to deliver that speech. So I got over I had to overcome my shyness and be able to talk with a microphone and do all that kind of stuff. And actually, I was offered a job that season by a GM who said, came up to me after the information meeting and said, "Have you given that spiel before?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, like I do it every single day for the last 4 months or 5 months." And they were like, "Well, have you told this? Do you tell the same jokes or the same, anecdotes or whatever?" I said, "Yep, every single time." And he said, "Well, if you ever want a job giving speeches, here's my card."
Oh, really? There's a job for
Yeah.
that? Okay.
There was, I guess it was a
Okay.
promotion thing. Like he works
Oh,
for
yeah.
promoting things.
That's
And
right.
so he was like, "We need people who can keep it fresh, but say the same thing 100 times."
Oh, okay. Now you got to give me one of these jokes. So
I
which
don't
jokes?
remember anymore.
Oh, really? Oh,
No,
okay.
it wasn't, they weren't jokes per se. They were like anecdotes about the village.
And you don't remember any anecdotes?
I don't remember any of them
Oh,
anymore.
too bad.
I know I gave that speech like hundreds of times and I don't remember any of them.
Okay, well,
Um,
here's a question I'm sure the listeners are going to want to know, if in case I forgot to ask you. So, does your badge go from Joe Baby to Joe Chief Baby? Like, what happens now?
it was still Joe Baby.
Oh, really? Okay. I guess that one stuck. Okay.
Yeah, that one stuck. Joe Baby. It was, well, for a while there was Joe Petite, but now it was Joe Baby. Back to Joe Baby.
Okay. All right. And you did just the one season in St. Lucia, like the winter
I
season, I
did do
guess?
just one season in St. Lucia, yeah, before they closed.
Okay. Then I see you go back to Eleuthera and you work with the very famous Kenton Smith, chief of village.
Yes.
Yeah, who don't know? I never worked with them, but I heard the stories. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
have you?
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I arrived in Lindemann the season before he was there, and the Aussie Geos couldn't wait to tell me what he did on the golf course. But anyway, we won't say that here. But
We won't, yeah, we won't
okay.
mention that now.
But if you got any funny, appropriate Kenton stories, I'd like to hear them.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was a character, right?
He was a character. He was probably he's one of my top three chiefs of village, honestly.
Okay, okay.
He was, and everybody, when I got the assignment, everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna do kids in a Kenton village?" Like I can't, wow. Like, oh
Kids,
my gosh, I'm so sorry. And you know what?
kids. Wait a minute. What's wrong with kids in a Kenton village? Because I guess he
Well, I
would
don't think
prefer.
he ever did a kids village before. I think it was his
Okay,
first kids village.
okay,
That's the thing. He
okay.
had
So
no idea what to do with kids at all, which
and
was to my benefit because he left it completely up to me.
and he was probably wondering what he had done to get assigned a kids village
Yeah.
after all these singles villages, right? Okay,
Why was I being punished?
okay,
No. And the first time I met Kenton, actually, I arrived in the village week or 10 days early. And he was like, "Who are you and why are you here?" Because it was really like there was like no GOs around yet. And I said, "Oh, like, hi, I'm Joe, and I'm the chief of Petite Club. And I'm just here to drop off my stuff because I'm actually going on a trip. I had made friends last time in Eleuthera with locals. And so I was chaperoning the high school baseball team to another island."
wow, okay,
I know, it was fun. So I was taking the local high school kids with another parent to Long Island in the Bahamas to play their tournament. So I was being one of the chaperones. And yeah, so he was like, "Well, how, like, what?" And Kenton was very confused. He was like, "How do you know these people?" And I'm like, "Oh, because we're like great friends. And, so I'm just here to drop off my stuff. I'll see you in a week." And so I'm not sure I made it such a great first impression. But after that, and actually one of the rules that Kenton and I agreed on was that he was not allowed in the yard of the baby club without my permission
okay,
and
yeah,
without my supervision.
yeah, because sometimes those animation passages, aren't I guess taken the right way, right? I guess. Okay.
Well, yeah, and he just didn't know how to comfort a crying child, or he just didn't know. He was at a complete loss as to what to do with them. And
Okay.
so I'm like, just, yeah, you know what? If you're going to come into the baby or petite club yard, you must have my supervision.
Did he
And
did
he
he,
agreed.
did he
So we
throw
were good.
good geo parties? Do you recall?
I don't remember.
Well, I guess they were good if you don't remember, right? Oh,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Okay.
Happy hour in K building. That's what I do remember. The GO building, yes. But yeah, every now and then he would throw like a happy hour, which was nice.
Oh, really? So you guys would just go to this K building and have
We
some
would go to
drinks?
K building because it looked at the water. It had like the ocean view and it was set back, but it was an ocean view and it was on the other side of the theater. So it was completely separated from the GM buildings. So we could make noise and turn on music and we weren't disrupting anybody.
Okay. Oh,
So
nice.
Kenton used to throw happy hour every now and then over in the K building. And it had balcony, it had like hallways on the outside and the front, like facing the water. And everybody used to just kind of pile into the first floor balcony and yeah, have happy hour.
That's nice because I don't recall ever doing that my 10 years. That's
Oh
pretty
my gosh,
pretty
yes.
nice.
Happy hour was quite popular. And because the liquor store was just right down the hill and they had great rum in the Bahamas, it
Oh,
was
yes.
nice.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, yeah, they
And
do.
the Kalik beer. Okay.
Oh yes, yes. I'm not a beer drinker, but yeah, banana rum was my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Did you have that straight or some Coke, Diet Coke? How did you have?
Coke, actually.
Yeah.
It was super sweet. Now I couldn't drink it now, but yeah, it was good at the time.
Yeah, I have to drink in the daytime now because I can't drink at night anymore. Okay. What has become of us, Joe baby? Oh,
I know. My
now,
kids laugh because they've been back to the Bahamas and yeah.
all right. Well, before we leave the Bahamas, and because I see you went all corporate on me there, so I guess
Oh yeah.
they kicked your butt upstairs again. Do you have
It was
any?
kind of another one of those things that I
Okay.
got a report. I got, oh, your next season is you're going to corporate.
Okay, before we go to corporate now, did you? I don't want to forget any stories like you wanted to share that I didn't ask you, or if we you want me to come back to that, or we can jump into your
No, I think that
Sandpiper
was, yeah,
corporate
no, it was a
job.
great season with Kenton. He was awesome. And I actually still to this day, he gave me a postcard at the end of the season with like an encouraging note on it and a thank you. And I still have it to this day.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now, who was behind you getting kicked upstairs to because that's a pretty big leap, no?
I'm not
Chief Baby
sure.
Club to Sandpiper Corporate, like childcare and circus HR. Is
I,
this because you did trapeze all those seasons ago?
yeah.
They said, "Hey,
No, because at the time, circus and childcare was kind of clumped together for HR purposes. Why? I'm not exactly sure, but yeah,
now."
maybe because they were in the same villages.
So this was like, yeah, so for June 97, April 99, you did that. Now, so in terms of circus, like what did that mean? Like what were you actually doing with circus?
At the time, it was Bob Christians who ran the circus program as far as training the GOs and overseeing like the trapeze building and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I simply hired the staff, like I hired the GOs
Oh,
and
really?
sent them off to the villages. Yeah.
Who are some of the people names I might recognize that
Oh, Josh Munden.
oh yeah, I know that name.
Do
Yes.
you? Yes,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was. Yeah, Josh was probably my most memorable hire.
Okay.
I remember he's from Newfoundland.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, and I remember we got his resume and he seemed like a really sweet guy and he had taught like gymnastics, which was great because circus at that time was always in a family village. So you had to be good with kids as well. So we had experience with gymnastics and with children. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, he'd be a great hire, but he was in Newfoundland. So it was very difficult to, by that time, people weren't so willing to spend their own dime to go to an interview. But we did phone interviews. So talked to him on the phone. And then I remember talking to it, like calling him one day for like to get some information or something and talking to his mom because his mom answered the phone. She was very sweet. And she was like, please, it's like April and he is out there shoveling snow.
Oh, oh,
Can you
Canada. Yes.
can you please find him a spot?
Okay.
And so I do remember I hired him and sent him off and we did a season together later on, but yeah, he was just and still is the friendliest guy. It was great.
Okay. And then so you were at Sandpiper for about 2 years, and then now you make the move to
Yeah.
Miami corporate, correct? In
Yes,
April
because
99.
they closed the corporate offices in the Miami village and we all moved down to Coral Gables.
Okay, I'm assuming then you were saddened by the news that Sandpiper switched owners, I guess. I'm assuming
Yeah.
I'm assuming that place it was your first season, and
Yeah, it was my first season. And then when I left corporate, it was my first season back into the villages too.
Okay.
So,
Well,
and yes, I would did corporate there for a while. And so yeah, I was like sad to hear that it was, yeah.
so what made you, yeah, so you said, so in summer 2000, you find yourself in Sandpiper with Lionel Benzoni. So what, did you just miss the village life? Like, is that why you
I
said, hey,
really enjoyed corporate. I learned a ton of stuff that I never would have got to learn. Like HR was very challenging at that time. The computer system was all in French.
okay.
So that was a challenging part anyways, but after I did HR, I got to do childcare program director. So that I loved. I got to go around to all the villages in North America and train the chiefs of baby, petite, and mini club and train GOs and set up a training program because there wasn't one for North America. So that was really it was very fulfilling and I got to do a lot of things. And when they did the big renovation at Punta Cana, I got to go down and talk to the architect and, like kind of have some input in what works, what doesn't, things like that. So that was amazing. And I do remember I was living at the time, I was sharing an apartment with Kate Ferguson, who's still with corporate and in Miami. And we were living in Coral Gables, awesome place to live. But I remember getting my tickets for the month. At the beginning of the month, the travel department would hand you your tickets. We still had paper tickets those days. And I remember having this huge stack of tickets. And my average month was traveling. I was on the road for 22 days a month.
Wow.
And I just thought, this is crazy. Like here I came to corporate thinking I was going to have a life outside of Club Med, and there was no time for that. And it was still, it was fantastic and it was still all encompassing. So I thought, you know what? If I'm going to have it be all encompassing, why am I paying rent? Why am I paying for a car when I don't use them? So I requested to go back to the villages. And they said, they were very accommodating. They didn't give me a hard time. And they said, yes, you can go back to the villages.
And boom. Did you think you were going to get sent to Sandpiper?
Yes. Oh, I knew that.
Okay. Well, wait, can I back you up a sec, Joe? Because
Yep.
you mentioned paper tickets, and since you're early '90s Geo, then I want to see if you have a similar. To this day, like right now, if you're driving around or in your area where you live, if you see a Purelator or FedEx truck, do you automatically think they're delivering you your plane tickets?
Oh,
because this happens to me all the time. Like I just go there.
Really?
Oh yeah, right away. I'm back in '94 and I'm waiting for my paper plane tickets to arrive by Purelator or FedEx. So
Oh my gosh.
Does this happen to you?
Because of the town I lived in, we didn't have Purelator or FedEx in my town.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
So how did they just mail them to you?
I don't remember anymore.
Oh, okay.
They might have just mailed them.
Yeah.
But I think if there were a couple of times between seasons where I only had a few days because of staffing, and I agreed that, okay, I'll go home and eat McDonald's and do my laundry and hug my mom, and then I'll go quickly again. But I think that plane tickets were like waiting for me at the airport or something.
Okay, how about this one? You're in a grocery market. You're in a grocery store today. You hear a Club Med song that you used to dance to back in the day.
Oh my gosh!
You have to physically restrain yourself from moving side to side. Okay, good.
Yes. My kids, when they were little, used to laugh because we had a Club Med CD. So we had all the crazy signs. So my kids grew up with the crazy signs.
Okay. And they thought they're cool until their friends saw them, right? What is that?
Well, I also ran a home daycare. So for 15 years after I left Club Med, I still stuck with kids. So I ran a home daycare. So everybody, like all the kids would know the crazy signs.
All right. Now we're so summer 2000. So did you so Lino Benzoni, was that your first time working with Lino?
Yes.
Okay. And you're of course chief baby petite club. So you get your old job back. Joe Baby's back. Anything?
Joe Baby's back in business. Yeah.
This is after Y2K. Anything cool happened? Interesting.
Oh yeah, I remember Y2K because I was in corporate and we were all panicking.
Yeah, because you guys had this computer system that didn't have the 00 whatever. So did anything?
No.
Did
I
anything?
just remember everybody panicking, and then the next day getting up and going to work, and it was fine.
Yeah, it seemed like
There were like
much ado about nothing, right?
much ado about nothing. I remember Paris panicking and having, yeah, and yeah. Anyways, I remember and everything worked fine. We were like, nothing happened. We were like, oh, here we were stressed and worried, and nothing happened.
And how'd your season go and Sandpiper that
In
summer?
Sandpiper, it was good. I don't remember a lot about it. Lionel was great. He was very welcoming, and it was the first time that we combined petite and baby club as one service in Sandpiper. And we had a ton of kids. And I think my staff that year at some points was up to 50 GOs. So
50, holy.
50, yeah. During high seasons, I had a GO team of 50. We were like obviously the largest GO team in the village.
Yeah.
And so it was just really a learning curve to have that big of a team and to be, it was fun though. We had a really good time. And we had I think that was a year that we did some renovations in Sandpiper in the mini club and petite club and baby clubs. And so it was just like, yeah, just a super busy season. And I remember though, not doing a lot of shows that season.
Well, yeah,
I think the trauma of the first season.
Yeah. That stage was beckoning to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But they said we were short of a chief. We didn't have a chief of baby petite for Sandpiper, and that's why I think that's part of the reason they were so accommodating to let me go back to the villages. I totally agreed. I said you can send me where I'm needed. Obviously, I knew where I was needed because I was one in the behind the scenes at the time. But I said, I'll do anywhere you want. And they said, you do Sandpiper and we'll make the decisions for the next couple of seasons and then we'll send you wherever you want to go.
Which, yes, the only black mark I see on this perfect Caribbean resume is that you go see snow. They send you to Crested Butte in the winter. Okay, now I guess.
And it was the opening season of Crested Butte.
Oh, was it? Oh, you helped open
it was the
Crested.
First season that Crested Butte opened, which was why I got sent there.
What was that like? What do you remember?
It was a little chaotic at first because they had done some renovations. As you might know, people might or might not know, it was already an original hotel. So it wasn't like we bought a hotel or we were, using the hotel. And it was at the bottom of the ski run. So it was perfect location, amazing. But as you say, I have been in the tropics or on beaches for the last number of seasons. So it was a bit of a shock to go to snow. And I don't ski and I don't snowboard.
Okay. Well, yeah, because if you fall off,
where would I have done that?
Yeah, and if you fall 4 feet off a stage, I don't think we should be putting you on a snowboard, Joe baby.
No, probably not.
No offense. No. Okay.
So I didn't, which was actually fine because I didn't miss that because it was a busy season for kids. And in Colorado, much of your season is spent with everybody from Brazil.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You learn the very basics in Portuguese because they don't speak a lot of English. And so I remember Mini Club having like 200 kids and none of them speak English.
200 Portuguese kids?
200 Portuguese kids.
That's folks. Okay. And how's your Portuguese today? Do you still have any of it?
Not at all. What is it? Tuta bang.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
Everything's okay? Yes, everything's good. Yay. It was kind of one of those all-purpose phrases.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I do remember, and it was very interesting because I had to get used to, at the time it was Mini Club because Mini Club. Yeah, I did Mini Club that season.
Yes.
Not Petite Club because there was no Petite Club.
Okay.
And so it was in because you hand off your kids to ski instructors.
That's right.
And then they're supposed to bring them all back.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So you don't know if they're all back because they come back. They come into the boot room where everybody gets out of their snowsuits and out of their ski boots, and then they all go for lunch. So then you kind of have to count all your kids, 200 kids in the restaurant for a Mini Club lunch to make sure everybody's there, or their parents haven't snagged them on the mountain, or it was a stressful season.
I guess you had both types. You probably had the parents that couldn't wait to, leave the kids with you, and then others that had separation anxiety, right? Was it always about 50-50
It
or
was,
no?
yeah, I would say when I was doing Petite Club, I remember parents hiding behind palm trees.
Okay.
Or, yeah, we had a saying, they spot you, they got you.
Okay.
Trying to encourage parents to not come and check on them. Or we're
Yeah,
like, they're three, they're two, if you come and say hello, they're gonna cry.
that's
They're
right.
gonna
Yeah.
be upset, but they're not upset when they're here because they're having a good time. But you remind them that they miss you. So don't do that.
Okay. And I see after Crested, you go back to the sun and the beaches of Paradise Island.
Yes. Once they said, because that was the agreement, like, okay, you got me for 2 seasons, you send me wherever you want. And then they said, we'll send you wherever you want. So I requested back to the Bahamas.
Okay, nice. And you were there April 2001 to about, now you stayed quite a while there, right?
That was my last village. And yeah, I was there for a long time.
And did your job change during those
No,
years?
I had the same job. There was no kids in paradise. There never was, but I did PR and local sales.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
where you and I met there, because I do remember talking to you. I mean, yes, it's hazy, but I was in Paradise in 2000, 2002, 2003. But I do, no, I do remember you. I just can't remember what we spoke about.
Yeah.
But I was there with Angie Boucher was the chief of village.
Right. Yeah. Paradise was my last village, and I loved it because it was, I was back in the Bahamas. For me, that was like, I don't think I've ever felt like home anywhere else except
Exactly. No, you're
here
right.
and there.
Yeah, I spent 2.5, well, actually 3 years total in the Bahamas. Yeah, 2.5 years in Columbus, and 6 months in Paradise. But it's true, I do consider Bahamas my second home,
Yeah.
like you do, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful place, beautiful people.
Oh, yes. The people made it all, obviously.
Yes. Can we move away from Club Med just for a second? Because I mentioned in your intro, ExpandingJoy.love. Do you have some time to tell me about it?
Oh, sure.
Like, what is it and what do you do?
So it started out because 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer and spent I'm fine now. Everything's great.
Okay.
Yes, everything is good. They got it all. I'm all, as far as the cancer goes, I'm all better. However, after 2 years of treatments, I was left with enough side effects that I have a heart condition and some other stuff. And I discovered that I will never be able to have a regular 9 to 5 kind of job, quote unquote. Not that I've ever had a 9 to 5 job, but I won't, I just can't do that physically anymore. So I needed to find a way to financially support myself and still I was determined that I was going to stick to my values and my beliefs and my passion. And one of my passions is bringing a sense of fun to spirituality. So my belief is that we're all on a spiritual journey. Some are more aware than others maybe, but we're all doing our thing. But for me, it should be this sense of play and fun and, positivity. So it came, a friend of mine or a client of mine said, "Hey, I just bought a yoga shirt or a t-shirt from my yoga instructor." And I said, "Okay," kind of thinking, and the point is, and she said, "You know what?" Because she had done several classes with me and she said, taken some workshops, and she said, "I would wear a t-shirt that had stuff you said on it." And I was like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah." And one of my sayings that I use in workshops a lot is, "What would love do?" That's always my question. If in doubt, what would love do? And so she said, "Yeah, I would totally buy a t-shirt." So I started investigating how to make that come about. And I started looking into it just before my last surgery, which was in October. And so after I started to recover from surgery, it kind of came to fruition. So I thought, this is great. I can create t-shirts that are all positive messages that lean towards spirituality And so I get to keep my belief system and my purpose in life. And it's not a job where I need to be present to make money. So I thought and that's how Expanding Joy, and I've had the company name Expanding Joy in my head for a long time. And when Google came out with their new, instead of .com, you could have all these different options. And when I saw .love, and I was like, that's it.
Oh, is that right? Did that come from Google, the .love?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay. Didn't know.
yeah, I got it somewhere else, I think, but Google came out with all these I saw their ads for, you can have all these new dot somethings. And when I saw .love, I went, that's it. That's my company, ExpandingJoy.love.
Okay, and okay, we'll tell listeners we're recording this at the end of January. It'll probably come out in March. But I just recently saw a post from you on Facebook where you're making a hoodie with you wanted to know certain words that we used a lot in Club Med to put on a hoodie, and it's kind of like what the first words that you see that appear is that what you're drawn to? Is that like I don't know what you call that?
So
diagram.
It's a word search.
Word search. That's right.
Word search. Yes. I made one for Valentine's. I don't know where the idea came from. It downloaded. So I had this idea for a hoodie with a word search on the back with Valentine words, because I thought I wanted because Valentine's is coming up now. It'll be gone when people listen. But I wanted Valentine shirts in my collection that people could wear all year. Because of course my collections are all about love and things. So that was perfect. And an ex-GO saw it, Glenda Ann, GA.
GA, yes.
GA saw it and she said, hey, you should make one for GOs. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would be perfect. So I made a hoodie or you can get it in a t-shirt or whatever, with a word search on the back that has, I think it's 13 words from Club Med.
Yes, and you asked people, okay, because I'm getting into why this is funny, because you asked people to chime in, like what words they used. Now, I just have to know: are you going to incorporate crack room into this?
No, I couldn't.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I saw.
I couldn't. I couldn't figure out how to get it in there.
Yeah, that one made me laugh, but because only I guess not everyone knows that term. I can't say what it is, but I thought that one made me laugh out loud, and I thought, I wonder if she's going to put it in. Okay.
Yeah, no, I did actually. I saw my daughter yesterday and explained what it meant to her, and she was laughing. So
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, she knows far too many Club Med stories about me. But
and this and all the other things like we can find on your website, and we'll put the link to the website in your show notes. So I encourage people to go visit your website, check it out, spend some money. Christmas is coming. Make great stocking stuffers or gifts in general, right?
Yeah. And I have some not only t-shirts and hoodies, but I also have digital downloads for affirmation cards and posters that are all the same kind of thing. So, and starting February 1st, if you go to the website or sign up to my newsletter on the website, you can also get, every month is a free, I'm calling them Lunchbox Love, because most of the ex-GOs now have kids and, we're all grown-ups now. So they are cards that you can just print off on your computer and cut, and they're like little love notes that you can send to your kids or your spouse in their lunchbox.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really fun. I used to send them to my kids all the time, and so I thought, you know what, these are really fun. So every month there's going to be a new theme and a new kind of direction, but there'll be at least 22 of them on regular 8.5 by 11 sheets that you can just print, and then you can cut them and put them into the lunch. So there'll be one for every day of the lunch for the month.
Okay, excellent. Okay, cannot wait to check it out. And I guess if any of these reunions are coming up, people can buy these things off your website and wear them to the reunion too, right?
Yes, all the shirts I can do custom shirts. I'm doing locally. I've done aprons for a local bakery, and I'm doing actually an ex-GO. Delina just contacted me, and I'm doing the same kind of idea with the word search on the back for her daughter's 3rd grade class with all their names in it.
Oh, okay.
With all the kids' names in the word search. So I can do, custom shirts as long as they're positive and not sarcastic or rude.
That's right. Just like this podcast. Okay.
Exactly. So as long as they have a positive message, then I'm all about that. And I am happy to custom design stuff for people.
Great. Well, thanks for talking about that, Joe.
Thanks.
You. Now, I have two more Club Med questions for you if you have time.
Sure.
Now, we did mention a lot of names, but I'm curious, like, if there's someone else you liked, you enjoyed working with and had fun with. If you want to shout out anyone, then the floor
I
is yours.
definitely GA.
GA, yes,
GA
one of
Robertson.
my first guests too on this podcast.
Yes, she is the godmother of my children. And she has been an amazing friend. We worked in Eleuthera together. We worked in corporate together. We were roommates. Yeah, and she's still a big part of our lives. Yeah, for sure. And she is the best thing I got from Club Med was my kids. So they were both born in Paradise Island, and she is the godmother. So,
Okay,
and Lori Scott too.
Oh,
Lori
Lori
Scott,
Scott, yes, from Canada.
yes. Yes, she was there at the birth of both of my children, and she went to Lamaze classes with me.
She was a nurse in Club Med, correct?
No, she was traffic,
Oh yeah, traffic. Sorry, Lori.
and then she did HR.
That's right. Yeah.
Paradise Island, she was HR.
I don't know why I screwed up the job, Lori. I do remember you, blonde hair, blue eyes, gorgeous. I remember you, Lori.
Okay, now she works for a cruise line.
That's right. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes, she was there to hold my hand for the delivery of my children.
Oh, wow. So really a Club Med world, huh?
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Okay. Anyone else?
Who else did I work with? You know what? My mom worked for Club Med.
Oh, really?
My mom was a GO. She did some short term to help out during really busy seasons. And then she was chief of baby club and petite club.
So wait a minute. So are you saying that when your mom came to work, you were her boss?
Yes.
Oh boy, what was that power dynamic shift like?
It was great. She was great.
Okay.
She was awesome. Yeah. She did Ixtapa. She did Sandpiper. She did Eleuthera. Yeah. So I think she was full-time GO for about 3 years.
Okay. So normally it's the parent that gets the kid into Club Med, but it's reversed.
Yeah. No, and my brother did a season as well in Copper Mountain.
Oh, wow. Family affair.
He did Copper and he did a short stint in Eleuthera.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess
so we definitely a Club Med family.
When are the kids doing their first season, Joe?
Yeah, I'm my son is a mountain biker and a snowboarder and took school to do like ecotourism. So Glenda GA was just saying, Auntie Glenda, as we call her, was just saying that, Quebec has a new village.
That's right.
That does all those great things. My daughter is actually her passion is working with youth at risk. So she has still kept in the childcare field, but she has a different slant on it. So she's off to Mexico in a month to visit Paula Fishman.
Oh, yes.
Who is the photographer and was in the village in Paradise Island.
Yeah, also a guest on this show.
Yes. So she was there when Skylar was born. She took all my pregnancy pictures and all the baby pictures of my kids when they were born. And so Skylar, my daughter, is off to visit her next month on vacation in Mexico.
Wow. Okay.
So they're still keeping their connection to Club Med. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. And if I might ask you one last question, if you have time, what are the 3 things you miss the most about Club Med?
Somebody else cooking for me.
Oh, yes. Agreed. Okay.
I have to tell you, I mean, I was a really good cook before I went to Club Med, and then when I got back,
yeah, wasn't it great? You just lined up and there was food there 3 times a day. Now
that my kids have grown up, I could care less if I ever cook again.
Okay.
Yeah, now my kids are off doing their own thing, but so I had to cook when they were growing up, obviously, but cooking was never my thing. I think the beaches, the sunshine, I live on the west coast of British Columbia, so we don't have a lot of snow, but we get a lot of rain. So I think I miss that. I'm not so sure I miss the heat, but I miss the sunshine.
Yeah, most definitely. Is there a third?
Probably the community between the GOs and the local staff.
Yes.
I miss that a lot. I made a ton of friends. Well, now, and some of them now are family because My kid's dad is a local in the Bahamas. And so we have very tight, very close ties and family there. But yeah, I think that the community sense of community and that it doesn't living in the islands, especially, it was very much in the Bahamas, as they say, you could sit down on your porch and somebody would just come by to hail you, just to say hello. There was no, and when you come home, it's more like, oh, we're going to phone somebody to set up a meeting. Whereas in the islands, it was very relaxed and people would just show up and they always had enough dinner cooking so that if they had one or two people just show up at that time, you could just stay for dinner. So I think I miss that a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you for sure. I'm so sorry. I have one last question, Joe. I lied before. Would you do anything different? Would you have changed anything? Or are you happy that the way everything unfolded in your Club Med career?
Oh, I don't think I would change a thing. I basically grew up as an adult in Club Med. It was during my I was 21 or something, and until I had kids and was an adult, I was 36 when I left Club Med. So I don't think I would change anything. It all just kind of like one thing dovetailed perfectly into another. I loved every single village I went to. I liked every chief of village I worked with. I liked every chief of service I worked with. So it made me who I am now. So I wouldn't change a thing.
Excellent. Me neither. Well, Joe, you've been a fantastic guest, and I really thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you. That was fun to be invited.
Thank you. And everyone, don't forget, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. So please check out expandingjoy.love. Spend some money because I know someone's birthday is coming up it's an anniversary. So please, everyone, please check it out.
Or just for themselves.
Treat yourself, right?
Yes, treat yourself. We don't do enough self-care, self-love.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much again, Joe. And we'll see you all next week. And here's where we say goodbye, Joe. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.